All right. Hey, hey. Welcome back, guys. All right. So I know it's late. I'm sorry I just got back home, but I wanted to go ahead and get into a specific message. In my mind's eye, I saw somebody that was driving very specifically like an old kind of like a work truck, a beat up truck, not new, not anything fancy or lifted or anything like that, but specifically they were driving down like a gravel road, an unpaved dirt road that had kind of like a bit of a dust cloud around it, but it gave me like a really nice vibe. Now, I am kind of a country bumpkin myself, so maybe that's appealing to me for that reason, but it didn't feel like somebody like running away. It felt like somebody who was just like where they needed to be, kind of like the vehicle that they had was perfect for the element that they were in. There was like a very like kind of summertime evening country feel to it. So my impression is that there was like lots of greenery on either side of the road, kind of a natural like countryside setting. My impression is that there was probably a water source somewhere nearby. It kind of had like, when you can smell when water is near, and it's got that sweetness to it. That's what came into my mind. So it's kind of an experiential vision. Anisha Chatu, Carrie Days, Ginger Montague, Nikki O, Lauren.co, Cosmo Guy. So great to see you guys. Slave Princess, hi beauty. All right, so let's keep all that in mind. Okay, we have a Two of Cups in the Justice card. I don't know how this is going to fit in just yet, but unless is somebody on their way maybe back? Is that why it felt comfortable? Is somebody like driving to where they belong? If this is like things have been wrong and it needs to be set right, something obviously has been handled wrong. I don't know if these two individuals have like really nice memories of being like burritoed together, sometimes when we're with the right partner in particular, there's just that comfort zone, especially like spooning or snuggling together, or even just the way somebody's hand fits in our own as we hold hands. It feels like these two have a very strong memory of like how nice they fit together. This feels like not sensual. I mean, everything is about our senses, I suppose, but I'm not talking about it in a sensual context, more like the comforting, like it, I don't know, it feels like two people have shared a blanket before, and it's a really nice memory for them. There's some kind of very specific, like, almost like swaddling, like, how like some adults like those sleep sacks, or some kind of swaddling, or somebody like nests and like tucks the blankets around them. But I feel like these two did that together and very cuddly or something. It's very much a memory of a cuddle, but then we have something that went horribly awry. I don't know if somebody lives in like an upper story of an apartment in a bigger city. Here we have a much more country setting. Here we have a much more city setting. So we do have like a difference in. Also, I don't know if somebody's head like sweats a lot when they get really hot and it like steam evaporates. I mean, our heads do give off a lot of heat, but I'm picturing somebody who, like, on a cold winter's day, literally you could see like the heat emanating off the top of their head or something. Or maybe somebody lives in an area where there's like a more steamy. Um, I'm hearing the. It feels like rain. I'm hearing the version by my favorite version, actually, even though he's not the one who wrote it. John Hyatt wrote it, but Aaron Neville, sorry, it took me a long time to get to his name, is singing it in my head. I love that song so much. It's something about in the sticky heat, I feel you open up to me. It's down here, the river meets the sea is how this song begins. So I don't know, this feels, I mean, very like we're starting to get like a location and a vibe and something very, I don't know, something kind of steamy, but not in exactly a sensual way. This is sensitive. There's clouds here as well, clouds here and clouds here as well. That's part of somebody's hair, or their thoughts are like drift sometimes. I think we could have a Libra involved in this storyline, and they maybe have like difficulty in holding a single thought in their mind. But the thing that's very clear is her. Their memories of her are very, very clear. I don't know if this person tends to get like confused or overwhelmed and their mind drifts, but this could be a Libra. It does look like they drifted away from her. with this Six of Swords, there is some kind of melancholy that entered into this connection. They caused her some kind of loneliness or some kind of melancholy. Whomever this one person out of this duo says everything was screwed up, everything went wrong, and I left the scene, and then I left them like abandoned on this island. I left them somewhere while I was up here in this. I don't know if their life was easier than somebody else's. Maybe that's the metaphor for being way up high. Like my life was easier. I was living happily in some high rise apartment, and I kind of forgot about this person that I loved. Maybe this is somebody from way back home. Maybe this is somebody that I visited. This is my true love. But then I moved on for whatever reason, went into the big city, separated myself off, and it's fast paced. And I really don't know why the hell I did this. Why did I leave behind somebody that's really real? This feels like they think that they abandoned a really important person in their life, left her on an island, maybe left her when she didn't have many resources, or left her someplace where, an island can be anything. It can be in an area that's, poverty stricken, or it's an area that just doesn't have access to a lot of resources or something, or at a time, maybe this is more like less of a location and more like a time in her life where her world was very difficult. And she, if you're the only one stranded on an island, you pretty much have to figure out how to survive. So I'm thinking that they left her when they should have stood beside her, made sure she had, her needs being met, especially if this was a love story where two people should have been sharing energy. It looks like they feel like they've done her wrong. Nine of Swords. Most definitely they feel like they've done her wrong. For some reason, it's really sinking in. She had a very difficult time and I wasn't there for her. And that was really wrong. Why weren't you there for her? We have the Death card sideways. Okay, so they were going through something of their own. Two of Swords, but they withdrew on purpose to privately deal with whatever they were going through. I don't know if they were questioning who they should be, where they should be, what they should do with their life. Ten of Wands, they decided to shut down, even from a person that they should have cared deeply about and made sure that she was okay. But instead, they kind of put their own, we'll say traumas maybe, or transformation first. Look, everybody has like a maximum capacity to deal with things, right? This may not have ever been intended to be like, okay, I'm just going to leave her high and dry. I love her. She's maybe dealing with as much, difficulty life stuff as I am. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and bail because it's, every person for themselves. I'm not thinking that that was the intention here. I'm thinking ultimately that's how it comes across. But I don't think that's how they thought of it at the time. It looks like they reached like maximum saturation to deal with whatever they had to deal with, which was a major transformation that they needed to make in their life. And this was something that they weren't ready to deal with. I don't know if this was like an identity crisis, if they were going through midlife crisis, if they were going through, it's definitely a crisis, because normally a Death card would be like, okay, I'm transforming. This is kind of great. A chapter of my life is ended. Something new is beginning. But, obviously, and transformation and change is hard. But this is somebody who wasn't sure they were willing to do it. So I'm thinking crisis. And then when we say, anybody who blocks something and says, no, I don't want to have to change. This is scary, or I don't think I can do change. I definitely feel like this is somebody who was too overwhelmed in their own, like I say, maybe this is somebody who got really scared of aging, or they got really overwhelmed with just what their own life was shifting gears on. This could be somebody who lost a job, changed a career, was about to lose a career path, was going to age out of a career path, was going to, anything that creates like massive stress where somebody would want to say, I don't want to. I feel like that's where their focus went. And they felt like, well, I have to deal with this, which was probably true, to a certain extent. And we all got to deal with whatever we got to cope with, no matter if we got the skills to cope with it or not. But I think it became like I said, it just was, their world was made up of just themselves. And it's like they forgot about a person that they loved very, very deeply. But they are saying, I did that whole connection so wrong. I bailed on them. Didn't even matter if they were sinking or swimming. Didn't matter what hell they might have been going through. Didn't matter that I left them high and dry. because I cared about what I was having a crisis over and what I wasn't ready to deal with. Look, this doesn't look like this person tried to be selfish, but that is still what it looks like occurred. And with that in mind, it's a little bit tough maybe to, they're the ones, looking at themselves with that chagrin, like, I did this. This was not okay. We have a Knight of Wands upright. This does look like somebody who's realizing they came across as like a good time Charlie or Charlene. It feels like they may even now have this huge desire to like race in and say, I've got to fix this. But on the other hand, I don't know if racing in might just make them look like somebody who, when they're ready to have fun, they show up. When they're ready to do something, they run in. We got a Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is, somebody who's trying to juggle. It does look like they were trying to juggle. And maybe that's what they're already saying is, I shouldn't, if I wasn't ready to give something, if I was still unsure of what I was ready for, or I was in the middle of my own crisis, then what the hell was I doing messing with somebody else's energy? What, as a distraction when I knew I wasn't suited to give anything to somebody? Then why did I use their energy? I was juggling them. I mean, people aren't entertainment. Human beings should be treated like they have value, and I just kind of think that this is them, keep in mind, we're explaining why do they say this was really messed up that I did this. This is somebody like, they're the ones laying this all out, right? We're describing their perception of why this was so wrong, the way they handled things. And I would say they're not sparing themselves any like shame. They feel like this is somebody who really feels like they messed this one up really badly, and like it came across as careless. They were careless with somebody else. Their crisis was more important than anybody else's feelings, and like they came in to get some distraction from their crisis by spending time with a person who turned out to have been not only, their Two of Cups, but every person is more valuable than being our court jester to take our mind off our stresses, right? So I really think that they feel kind of gross. I mean, it's that simple. So what about the truck? Why did I see a truck at the very beginning? We have a Page of Cups. They would like to say sorry. I do feel like this is somebody who would like to maybe get more real and say that they're sorry. They're sorry that they did this. They're sorry that they were in a selfish mode. I mean, I don't know how that's going to fix what's already happened, particularly since they said I left somebody high and dry. But they are sorry about this. This is not the way they should have been behaving. This is not somebody who looks like they were out cheating. This is more like somebody who was going through a difficult thing in their life, and maybe they tried dating to take their mind off their difficulties, but they didn't have anything to offer someone they were dating. And to, add lemon juice on a paper cut, it's that they also turned out to have been dating somebody very, very, very important who they actually had a lot of emotions for. They were certainly not at their best, right? In this, it says, I mean, if they could do it all over again, would it be handled different? Oh, God, yes. But, and that might be the extent of what they could say with an apology. If I could do it all different, I would do it all different. I would change everything. I would start fresh. I would do it different. Yeah, Judgment card. I would give anything to have handled everything with you different. It's actually them just sitting here and recognizing this, them, I guess I'll say driving through this old memory and realizing that everything should have been handled so differently. And if they could go back in time and have a do-over, they would do it different. That does speak of, someone who's been able to look in the mirror. I don't know if they're going to like try to step forward and alter anything, but the Three of Pentacles upright, I don't know, Three of Pentacles, that flower is pretty permanent. It's not something that's growing. It's something that's permanent because it's made out of brick. We have Wheel of Fortune. We have Ten of Swords. Look, maybe there's going to be a cathartic conversation that these two could have. But this says it is definitely time to end the distress and the pain. So if this character believes, and we never even saw who this character is other than they could be a Libra. If this justice person is carrying this much, like, I wish I could fix it all. I wish I could do it all differently. By the way, we did have Scorpio in here as well. The universe is agreeing now's a really good time. For what it's worth, try to remove stress that you caused somebody else. For what it's worth, maybe they don't want you back, but try to fix something so that you don't leave that kind of hurt. They may have a lot of boundaries up. She may not be too keen on letting you into her home or letting her into her you know, like her world like that, but she definitely may not want to give to you. So if you're expecting somebody to let you in and give to you the way she did before, she could have been a Queen of Pentacles. It says expect her to still be a Queen of Pentacles, just she's not pentacling for you. she got no pentacles for you. So don't be shocked by that. You know, with the Nine of Wands upright, this is more about them maybe clearing the karma with her simply because it's the right thing to do. This isn't about them getting a second chance with her. This is just about them maybe clearing the karma and trying to course correct things, just so that there's not that, you know, that hurt that's left behind. Sometimes just acknowledging, telling somebody, I know I didn't show it. I know I was selfish mode, only dealing with what I was overwhelmed by, and completely failed to realize you had needs and wants and fears and things that you went through. I'm so sorry that I could only look to my own problems at that point in time. But for what it's worth, you were worthy of more attention. And for what it's worth, I actually did love you. I mean, if that's what needs to just be said, that could go a long way to alleviating if she felt, unseen, uncared about. It may not get these two back together, but it might go a long way to, soothing someone else so they know that they were valuable, even though they weren't treated as such. And I think this is about clearing karma. That's what this story is about, is clearing karma. Yeah, Hierophant. Their higher self has to know, if you need to course correct something, you do it in this lifetime because you have to make it right. It's not because you're going to get something back out of it. It's just that you got to try your best to fix something. And I think this is them listening to their higher self. They can't expect her to want them back. We don't know. She might. I'm not sure about that. But the big thing here is just move forward and try to course correct, because it's eating them alive anyway. We can see that. It's eating them alive. They got to try to at least tell her what she meant to them, even though they didn't show it at one point in time because they were too consumed with their own problems at that point. But, to settle the karma, maybe this is a really great story in that context. All right, you guys, so nice to see everybody. I'm going to bounce out of here. We will get Cancer done next. I'll still bounce over after Cancer and go to the other channel, and we're going to do a Capricorn bonus, and then we'll do our today's topic, okay? Penny, hi, sweetheart. Small TV, Sen Moy, Pimper named, RS. Hey, guys, good to see everyone. Calm seas, sweet dreams, honey. 11-8, so nice to see you, babe. Family account Ivy. Good night, honey. RS Tina. Thank you, everyone. Empress Unicorn 111. Hey, sweetheart. I know. I'm sorry I got back so late tonight. Hetty. Hi, sweetie. Tammy Secord. Sinclair's house. Hi, hun. Cosmo Guy. Lauren. Ginger Montague. Thanks again, everybody. And Anisha Chetu, like I said, you were first in the house tonight. Carrie Days, thanks so much for being here, babe. And Nikki, always a pleasure to see you. All right, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for right now.